Shemamba eya semo ededa de Okudzeto ablakwa ena chese ne ho aka edwem esense emra na omuwo opposition or the insembi etuja efa eya private jet ho chese se ono de omuba power na se eya vice president ana se president na nkasa efa eya private jet na se anu edenya ono Okudzeto ablakwa obel resign. Now, Omobetima Abaso NHS His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Akofa private jet beer ebusia nebuo die echikure enona amagana for astatia or more HS Okudzeto ablakwa we die wanu din se mwana ukai se position bia ekura o se we minister o se we dey position ayede bema wo Okudzeto ablakwa obeweza nti eneda idie emana so se Okudzeto ablakwa beza yenko na yenko tie ensem bi mbra
nipa wodi animu no kofi fasa private jet bia na wo wa ban nimu you resign.
I'll resign because what
resign
why shall I stay there? Me resign because the mayor is on principle and yet personal and yet say dia me time President Akufo-Addo and as I mean President Akufo-Addo. It's the principle. It's about protecting the public purse.
Hey, Sabrina, your education minister na oda olem kwise mo abe resign.
Oh, me resign. I mean, my head, my resigning free appointments committee of parliament.
And the appointment committee, no, say any allowance and more kwana mojeje, and I be wo baby a minimum.
Appointments committee, which is a committee.
President Mahama is different from President Akufo-Addo. I'm saying that. I'm telling you that President Mahama went on the trip for which has been announced on a commercial jet, a commercial flight. President Akufo-Addo never takes that. He takes very expensive jet, and I'm saying that as we speak, President Mahama has never embarked on those flights that President Akufo-Addo has been embarking on. As a defense minister, I think you should be clear on this. If you descend into the arena of pretending that you didn't hear what the speaker said by saying that President Mahama went on a trip, and I'm saying that particular trip, he went on a commercial flight. What is the difference here? Then you are saying that the current presidential jet is fit for purpose, and I'm saying that it is very rich coming from you. When you sat there all these years for President Akufo-Addo to spend almost $1 million or more on private jets, very luxurious ones, President Mahama will never do that to the people of this country. That is the difference.
But the reality is that if that is what the presidency wants, then it means that we need to have a policy or make that conscious decision, whether it's you, the parliamentarians, or the political elite, or as a country, that we need a presidential jet, a new presidential jet. What do you say?
It is clear to me that the charter arrangements that President Akufo-Addo has been pursuing was just to herald this. They were preparing the grounds for this big announcement that a new presidential jet is needed. Let me serve notice that we on the NDC side in Parliament, we have discussed extensively amongst ourselves. We are not going to support this purchase, the purchase of a new aircraft, because of a number of reasons. One, the current presidential jet is fit for purpose. As President George Weah has told us in our faces, it's very fit for purpose. There's nothing wrong with it. Number two, the current presidential jet, if you read the Hansard of 19th March 2008, we were told by the then defense minister, who is now National Security Minister, Honorable Kandapa, that our jet has a 20-year lifespan after it arrives. It arrived in October 2010. It's done barely 11 years. Next month it will be 11 years. We are nowhere near 2030, where you can start discussing a new aircraft. This presidential jet arrived in 2010. The records in Parliament, please check the parliamentary Hansard. We were told that a presidential jet has a lifespan of a minimum 20 years. So 2010, when the aircraft arrived, plus 20 years. That gives you 200. I mean, it gives you from now to 2030, from 2010 to 2030. That's minimum 20 years. Now, we all know that with these aircraft, if your maintenance regime is good, if you take good care of the aircraft, that minimum 20 years, you can even double it. Our Ghana Air Force, the Communications Squadron, which is in charge of presidential jets, is celebrated the world over for their high maintenance culture. We all know that. If you take in Ghana's history, this is our 4th presidential jet, the Fokker 28, which a champion purchased for us in the 1970s. Our Air Force has been able to take very good care of Fokker 28 for well over 35 years. So even this minimum period of 20 years, you can see that it's very generous. It can go beyond that. Now, I am even more fortified in the position I take that the minimum period of 20 years could even exceed that, because a country like Namibia, a Falcon, theirs is a much older version. Ours was a newer version, the 900 EXE. The Namibians bought the 700 EX. And all of this information is available online. Viewers can check if I'm peddling any falsehood. So the Namibians bought theirs in 1990. They are still using it. Ours arrived 2010, and we are making excuses. Excuses that are unfounded, that are baseless. Excuses that we have asked. You say that these claims are coming from experts. We have been asking in Parliament. Tell us who those experts are. Let us see the evidence of experts telling you that don't use this aircraft for a long-range travel. Up to now, they cannot tell us. They cannot produce or adduce any evidence to that effect. Now, the Namibians, President Gengob of Namibia, is still using a Falcon 700 EX, which they bought in 1990. They are still using it. The last UN General Assembly, when I tracked, and I've been tracking this, I have the systems to track this. President Gengob of Namibia used their Falcon, which they bought in 1990. Over a 30-year Falcon. He used it to New York, to the General Assembly meeting. Only in September, a few months ago. All these meetings the president is attending. That's what the Namibian president, President Gengob, has been using. Take President Macron of France. His aircraft that he's using now also arrived in 2010, the same year our presidential jet arrived. President Macron of France is still using his presidential jet, which arrived in 2010, the same year, 12-year-old aircraft. That is what President Macron used when he visited Ghana in 2017. That is what he used when he went to Rwanda.
So you're making
a few months ago.
You're making the case that
so
the aircraft is not old enough to be retired.
Yes. So please, it's important to really bring my point home.
Okay.
Take the United States of America, the famous Air Force One. When was it purchased? You can check. 1991. That's when the Americans purchased Air Force One. That is what current President Biden is still using. President Obama's period, they began discussions about changing it. That is now reached its lifespan. Is, after 30 years, they want to change it. But President Trump, when he came to power, said that the plans for the replacement was too expensive, too elaborate. So he suspended it and reduced the cost and the scope. President Biden has also suspended it because of the pandemic. This is the world's wealthiest country, the United States of America. They are still using Air Force One they bought in 1991. We bought our presidential jet in 2010. It arrived. And we are making all kinds of excuses.